We're wading through a lot of unknowns. But where is your head at, Jasmine? You look at TikTok from the point of view, well, this is a platform that almost 50% of Americans are using. What do you think will happen?
Well, I think the announcement from ByteDance today that they weren't going to sell was to be expected. I mean, TikTok has already said it's going to wage an intense legal battle. I think the question for me is what happens now with all of this uncertainty. I mean, TikTok obviously has a lot of loyal users. Many of them have already come out in full force to defend the app, and I expect they'll do so again. I don't expect many of them to leave, and advertisers aren't going to leave as long as there's audiences to reach, and content creators, of course, which are a really important part of the app, aren't going to leave if there is money to be made. But if there's one thing that advertisers don't like, it's uncertainty. And if this uncertainty surrounding the legal battle and what happens to TikToks sends enough of them running for higher ground, that could eventually lead to creators starting to leave, and users will follow creators wherever they go. And that could end up doing in an undoing of TikTok even before this matter is resolved in courts, or if it finds a buyer, ByteDance changes its mind.
So, Jasmine, coming into the show today, before the headline crossed about ByteDance having no plan to sell TikTok, what was your thesis before that moment on TikTok?
My thesis in terms of whether it was going to be sold or not, I mean, what I was thinking about mostly was in terms of the algorithm and how important a part of that would be in terms of whatever sale could potentially take place. I mean, the algorithm is a big part of what makes TikTok tick, and not having it as part of the sale would, of course, lessen the valuation, potentially expand the potential list of buyers, but it still wouldn't be an easy task to find a buyer for TikTok, even if ByteDance were willing to sell the app.
Okay, so last night during Meta's earnings call, an analyst asked Mark Zuckerberg for basically reaction to the TikTok situation. Susan Lee, who's the CFO, jumped in and answered the question and said, you know, we're monitoring it, looking at it closely, too early to tell what it means for our business. Do you have a clear winner in any scenario of who the main beneficiary of a TikTok divest or a TikTok ban might be in the social media landscape?
Yeah, well, Meta has been pretty silent on this issue, and for good reason. I mean, there could be ramifications in other countries where Meta does business. Meta would be a clear winner if TikTok were to disappear from the US, mainly because of Instagram Reels. It is one of the most natural fits for displaced TikTok users. It's not exactly the same as TikTok, but I imagine that a large number of TikTok users would move there or to YouTube Shorts. And it would also be a winner in terms of ad dollars. Now, Meta is a massive player in the digital ad landscape. We're expecting it to bring in about $64 billion in US ad revenues this year. TikTok's ad business is smaller, by no means small. It's about $10 billion $10 billion in ad revenues. And so, of course, some of those dollars, a big chunk of those dollars would likely go to Meta as well.
Jasmine, will Meta be the world's leading AI company?
It's a great question, and Meta certainly is in the AI race to win it. I do think it could be a dark horse in the race to AI. If you think about the distribution potential alone, it has a built-in audience through Facebook, through Instagram, through WhatsApp. I was doing some calculations after it released Meta AI into the search bars and Facebook feed just last week, and Meta only needs 43% of US Facebook users to use Meta AI on a monthly basis for its audience to be as big as ChatGPT is here in the US. And that isn't unthinkable if you consider how prominently and permanently Meta AI is displayed across the apps. And then in terms of monetization, you know, that is going to be a big factor in determining who wins the AI race, and Meta has a competitive advantage there. We don't really know how Gen AI is going to be monetized, but like pretty much everything Meta does, it's likely to be an ad play, and this would be connected to its powerful ad ecosystem. And so I could see it emerging as an unexpected winner, though, of course, there is a lot of competition and a crowded market still to face.